Hi everyone, welcome back. In this session, we are going to see about how to implement CRUD operations in Entity Framework Core. CRUD means create, update, delete. The simple things. I am opening the same project which we used in last session. In last session, we used many things like one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many relationships. If we use the same entities for CRUD operation, it may be complex things to understand for beginners. So let us start with new simple entity for this session. So we can create a new folder named CRUD. Inside that folder, we can create a new .NET class library for our entity models. So I'm going to create a new class library. We can name the project as CRUD.models. We can choose only .NET 6 for our session. So we can choose leave it as it is. Here default class is created. We can delete this default class. As usual, we can add two new folders. One is for model, another is for DB context. In this session, we are going to deal with as much as simple entity. Let's take country entities. We can add new class named country. We can add two properties as simple. One is country ID, another is country name. Now we can add new class country DB contacts inside folder DB contacts. It may be anything. No need to mention as country. We can name it as my DB contacts like that. But I'm using the naming convention country DB contacts. And we need to inherit DB contacts. We already see this inheritance in our previous sessions. We need to inherit DB context. Here it shows we need to install the naked package Microsoft Entity Framework Core. So if I click it, it automatically install the naked package. Now it's okay. Now we can add country DB set. We already see in our previous sessions, we need to add the DB sets. So public virtual DB set country. Okay. In previous session, we added connection string inside DB context file, but it is not best approach. We need to provide connection string in consumer app. It may be anything. Consumer app may be anything. That's Windows application or console application or web application, anything. But in this session, we are going to deal with a new console application in .NET 6. So I am going to add a new consumer application, that is a console application. Inside the folder, CRUD add new project, that is console app. We can name this console app as CRUD.consumer. It may be anything. We are following this standard line. That's only. You can provide any name. Okay, now new console application have been created here. You can see here. Now we can add this this project's reference, that is CRUD models project reference to our consumer app here inside CRUD.consumer. How we can do it? Right click on it, add project reference. Then we can choose our CRUD.models. So if we expand this dependencies, here we have projects. Inside the project, we have added this CRUD.models project as a reference inside this project. In this way, we can refer the one project to another project. Now we need to add connection string inside consumer app. To add connection string and some other settings, there is a concept called app settings.json file. So we can add app settings.json and we can provide our connection string there. I'm going to add one JSON file. Right click on it, add new item. We can search for JSON. Then we can provide this name may be anything, but for better coding standard, we are following the same which used by Microsoft. So app settings. Now we need to write the connection string here. I pasted this connection string in a notepad. We can copy and paste this connection string here. We can provide this EF core CRUD. Now we need to write some code to read this connection string. In our .NET 6 application, in C# file, we need to write some code to read this connection string. For best practice, we can separate this reading this connection string in some other file, that is common file, because we can use this connection string all over the application. So no need to write the code again and again. So we can write it as a common function. So I am going to create a common folder. As this is one type of utility, I am going to create a class named with utility.cs. To save our time, I already put the reading code in Notepad. Let us copy that code. Here we need to install package sub.extension.configuration. Yeah, now that error goes. Now to use the SQL server, We need to use some other thing. So let's start. I am going to add, sorry, here manage naked package. We already know that we need to install two packages. One is Entity Framework Core. Microsoft Entity Framework Core. One more is Microsoft Entity Framework Core .SQL Server. Now that error gone, that use SQL Server error gone. We have only one error, that is add JSON file. For that, we need to add one more naked package. We already installed extension.configuration, but we need to install configuration.json also. Now that error also gone. Now everything okay. Let's review this code. What we wrote here. Here we already added one app settings.json file here, where we can see here. I forgot to tell one thing. We need to open these properties and we need to add this do not display to copy always. Then only while building the solution or deploying the solution, that file get moved to executable path. Then our application will read the JSON file. So we need to set this property. So here from the configuration builder, we are adding the JSON file offsetting start JSON already here. So from this JSON file, we have one section called connection string. So we are called it acts as a key value pair. Here key is connection string, value is this thing. So while calling that using that key connection string, we will get that connection string values. So it will return the connection string. This is the simple method to return the connection string. We make this method as a static method because no need to create the object of this class again and again, because we are going to use it all over the application and all over the CRUD operation. So we make it as a simple static method. So we can call this method without initiating the class each and every time. One more method we have is this DB context options. Here we are calling that connection string, and after getting the connection string, we are going to use this connection string. This is the option for this DB context. So we are having this method also. I will tell you whenever we are calling this method, I will tell you. You can understand why we are using this method. Okay, now everything set. But in entity model project, we have DB context. But inside consumer application, there is no DB context. So we can't use add migration inside consumer app. Let's add DB context inside our consumer app also. That means adding the DB context inside the consumer app means it's not meaning that we are going to duplicate the code from entity model project to our consumer app. So to avoid the duplication, we need to use some other DB context. So I am going to create one DB context to keep the DB context in separate folder. I am going to create one folder named context. We can create the context name as application DB context. To save our time, I already copied the code to Notepad. We can paste it here. So I have the code in the Notepad. Okay, I will tell. First, I will explain the code, then we can resolve this issue. Here, no need to duplicate the code from the DB context inside our entity model project to our consumer app. So to avoid the duplication, we need to use some factory class. We need to inherit some factory interfaces. That is I design type context factory. If we inherit this one, we can avoid the duplication of DB context code. So we are inheriting this one. No, not much code is here. As of now, I am removing this code. Whenever we are getting the error, I will explain why we need to add this line. So now we can remove that code. Here, country DB context, it shows there is no one argument. It takes no one argument because I'm clicking F12. Here there is no constructor with one argument. So it shows the error. So I am going to create a constructor with one argument. So potential fix. Here create generate constructor. So I am going to constructor with some parameter. Yes, now we have created one parameterized constructor for our country DB context. Now we all set. Now we can migrate these entities to database. Before that, I am going to build the solution. We already know that we have two commands. We can execute it one by one. First command is add migration. Second command is update database. So I'm going for package manager console. First, we can choose our consumer project. Consumer project is CRUD.consumer. I'm going to run the script, migration script. That is add migration. This name may be anything. I am providing a simply country. Okay. Would not load assembly. CRUD.consumer it is referenced by the startup project entity framework. That means we need to set this project as a startup project. Consumer project. We need to set this project as a startup project. Okay. Now I am trying the command again. Now it shows our consumer project. We need to refer this naked package. So I am copying this one and I am adding manage naked package. Okay. It's the time I already copied this code, but I removed this code, right? Because I just want you to understand why we need this code. Now we are getting this error. It shows in our consumer application name assembly is not referred. So we need to provide our consumer application assembly name. Then only we can migrate it from our consumer application. So what we have to do is inside application DB context, after the connection string, We need to tell migration assembly name, that consumer app assembly name. This is consumer app application name. So I'm going to provide this name here. Now I am building the solution. Now I am trying the command again. Yeah, now this time everything is success. So I'm going to run the second command, that is update hyphen database. Okay, everything migrated well. So I'm opening this SQL server and refreshing. Here I can see our new database EF core. In this database, I can see our new table called countries. So I am going to run the script. Select star from country. While executing that table is there with two columns, but no record is there. Now we finished initial setup for CRUD operation. Now we are going to create methods for CRUD operations. Let's add a class named country operations.cs. I am going to add new class called country operations. We can add a new method to create to add countries. So public void add country. It takes one parameter called country name. Here, here we can create a context where context equal to new. The context name is, what is the context name? That is country DB context. Yeah, this takes one parameter. I already told that in the utility method we have one extra method. Now we need this method. We need to call this method to get the DB context options. So we are going to call that method here. We can create a new student. Student, sorry, we can create a new country. For that new country, we can provide the country name, which is the input parameter for this method. Finally, we need to add this country to our context. context dot countries dot add this country object. Finally, we need to save the changes. That's it. Now we can debug and find how that data get inserted. Before that, we need to call this method from our program.cs file. Then only this method will get fired. So I'm going to program.cs. Here I'm going to create an object for this country operations. I'm calling this add country method by passing a country name as input parameter. I'm passing India as a country name. Okay, let's put the breakpoint in this method. Let's put the breakpoint in this method, then we can see what happens. I'm going to run this application. Yeah, now it breakpoint comes here. Here country name as it comes as India. Okay, we set the country name as India. We have added the country to the context. Okay, now I am checking this context. Inside the context, country is not there. I added the country name inside the context. I am going to check whether it's added into the database. But inside the database, there is no record. Now I'm putting the save changes. After save changes, I'm getting record inside the table. So save changes is record to get update the data record to the database. Now we have seen how to add a record. Now we are going to see how we are going to update the record. To update the record, the same way we are going to create one more method, that is public void update country. Input parameter is string name as well as country ID. Just for a particular country ID, we are going to update the country name. Same code we can use to use the context. First, we are going to find the country with the country ID. Where see now we are fetching the country entity by passing the country ID, which is input parameter for this method. So if country ID is valid, then we are getting the country, we can update it. But if country ID is invalid, then country object will be null. So we need to check the null. If country not equal to null, then we need to set country dot country name as country name, which is the input parameter for this method. Then we need to save changes. Okay, let's put the breakpoint in this method and we can see. For that, we need to call this method from our program.cs. So instead of adding, I'm going to call this method update country. We already in the database, I know that country ID is 1. So I'm going to pass the country ID 1 and I'm going to update the value as new India. Okay, let's run the application. Yeah, breakpoint hits here. Now I am passing the country ID as 1. So country is not null. Some country values as 1 and India. So I'm going to update the value as country name with country name as new India. So I'm going to check database. Still value is India, not new India, because that save changes not executed till now. So I'm going to run save changes. Now I am going to check database. Now it updated as new India. That's it from update point of view. Okay, then one more thing in CRUD operation we already seen about CRUD means CR means create and U means update. Then one more thing is pending, that is a D for delete. So I'm going to create one more method called delete. I can use the same in these lines of code. First, we are getting the country entity by passing the country ID. If that country is not null, then only we can remove the country. If country is null, then we can't remove it. So we are checking this country is not null. Then context dot countries dot remove this country object. And finally, we need to do save changes. Okay, that's it. I'm going to put the breakpoint here. I'm going to call that method. We need to call this method from program.cs, that is delete country 1. I'm going to run this application. Yeah, breakpoint hits here. We have country with the ID, so not equal to null condition hits. Then we are going to remove that country. If I check, still this record exists in database because we need to run that save changes. So I'm going to can I have done. Now context starts save changes executed successfully. So database update happens. We can see that there is no record. That record get deleted. It's success. Again, I'm going to run the application again. What happens? You can see here country ID 1 is passed, but there is no record with the ID in 1 in the database. So not equal to null condition, it comes out of that remove code. So in this null check, we can avoid the null exceptions. That's it. In this video, we have seen about how to implement CRUD operations in Entity Framework Core. In next video, we will see about stored procedure in Entity Framework Core. Thanks for watching.